Welcome to Wages and Words. Myself, Mario Heron, back after a little bit of a siesta. And we're talking UFC today. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you hate it. And if you love it, it's all up to you. Then get your mom to do the same thing. But today we're going to talk about RDR versus Anthony Hernandez, the fight that is not going to happen. Anthony Hernandez steps down. Brendan Allen steps in for the fight. And the reality of the situation is oh my God, does this screw over RDR? Look, RDR, if he was able to take out Anthony, was right there for the next shot at Khamzat for the belt. It would have been him or Nasruddin that would have done it after Nasruddin kind of took care of Kaio and looks really good in that fight. But now you're not facing the guy that's the next man up in the UFC. You're not facing a championship contender. You're not facing a guy that people are fearing and people are talking about as could be the next great fighter in this division. You're fighting a guy that is solid, but has just been around. There's nothing, not trying to crap on the guy, but there's nothing insanely special about Brendan Allen, like there is about an Anthony Hernandez, like there was about Robert Whittaker, or I'll even say like a Bo Nickel that he was able to beat early on. He's facing a guy that's just run of the mill, that is a company man, that loves to fight, and that's trying to make a name for himself. This is not going to help you try to get in that title shot contention. He got screwed. Now, if he takes care of him, which I think in this one, he has to. RDR has to finish Allen. It has to be a complete domination. It has to look like varsity versus JV, which I think he will do. But it has to be a no doubt in our minds that he was a better fighter and that he beats the living son out of him. It has to be like Islam versus Money Morikawa when he stepped in that fight. It was just a complete mismatch in that championship game, that championship octagon. But if he doesn't do that, that really hurts his chances. Then he really does have to wait around for a next one. And if I'm being completely honest, he probably does have to get one more now after this fight against Brendan. He probably has to do that fight against Anthony Hernandez. Or maybe he has to book a fight against Israel Adesanya if Adesanya wants it. Or he has to fight maybe Kaio or maybe DDP. But the thing is, when Anthony pulled out of this fight, look at the guys that RDR probably should fight. All these guys aren't taking a chance like this without a longer camp, without longer time to prepare. Like DDP's not looking at RDR going, yes, this is the opportunity I want. I'm just hoping for a rematch, and you can make our right. He deserves one. Probably will get one. Strickland's suspended. Adesanya is just not at this point in his career where he would just jump at an opportunity like that, and he wants Strickland. He wants to do Strickland Part 3. Nasruddin just fought, won. Kaio just fought and lost. Would be really quick turnaround after taking that much damage to just go and fight a guy that's very experienced, that's very talented. But that would be a tough ask. So all the guys that should fight him or that make the most sense are just simply not there for the opportunity. So he gets a guy that's a little bit lower on the rankings. And like Brendan Allen's still a very, very good fighter and be a good win on RDR's resume. But it will not carry even close to the same amount of weight as beating one of these top 10 guys, beating one of these top 5 guys. And that's why when you look at the order of who gets the belt or a shot at the belt next, RDR is still going to be in second place, maybe even third place. And that's the reality of the situation. And that sucks for him. And if I'm in his camp, I'm telling him, you got to make it where it's just so freaking unfair. And you got to really wipe this guy out. Maybe he does. Maybe he won't. I think he will. I'll bet on it that he will. But such a sad situation because it was really excited for this fight, obviously, between Hernandez and RDR. It was going to be an electric factory. And I think anytime you get two guys that are on the come up and two guys that are just on a collision course, you want to see it happen. And it's good for the UFC and it's good for the fan base. Sucks that we don't get it. We'll see what happens. Very stacked division with a lot of talent. And, Khamzat is a champion, and he's probably one of the better champions on the roster. And he has a long way to defend that belt. He's defending his belt against a lot of great guys. So we'll see what happens next. That's all I got for Wages and Words today. Short episode, but make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share if you hit it. Share if you love it. We'll have UFC bets coming next week with Carlos Oberg versus Dominic Reyes. That's a very, very good fight at light heavyweight. We shall see how that one goes. Early thoughts, I kind of like Carlos, but there's other ways I think you bet it, make some little money off it. Make sure you tune in. And by the way, Fighting Nerds, whew, tough go, man. Shout out Diego Lopez. What a fight. I mean, that guy really responded well to that whole thing. I think him and Silva is probably one of the best fights we've seen all this year. Both guys just slugging into the end. And every time you thought maybe one of them was in trouble, they weren't in trouble until the very end when Lopez obviously caught Silva with a spinning elbow, and boom, he goes to sleep, and boom, Lopez is victorious. Kind of weird because he's like this super friendly guy, but he's also one of the most dangerous men in the UFC, and he gets another shot. I think he deserves another shot at Volk. I'll stand on the fact that in that fight that he had, he looked a little shocked going into it. Took him a little bit to kind of get ready, not get ready, but get settled in that championship fight, and he's still stunned Volkanovski a little bit. He stunned him a couple times. What happens part two? I think part two, he clips him and he gets him in the end. But that's all I got for you on Wages and Warriors. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you guys next time. Mario Heron. Make sure to check out the new Bullet Crew podcast episode, breaking down Broncos versus the Chargers. Very, very exciting stuff. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.